Let's launch it. There we go. The more I drive it, the more I like it. Oh, there we go. There's a backflip for you. Wasn't expecting it. I think it's pretty obvious that FMS Model is on a mission, and that mission is to be one of the best RC companies in the industry. And now they have this big four-wheel drive basher, Colorado. The FMT10, and this thing is completely loaded up with stuff that hardcore RC drivers want. Wait until you see this. Let's get it out of the box. That is a licensed Chevy Colorado ZR2, and it's available in a couple different colors. Like that, it's a nice, simple paint job. Wish it did have clear windows, but it's got some pretty cool detail on the window graphics. They've had a little scale detail like they usually do with a molded grille. They've got mirrors on the side, the roll bar in the back, and even taillights. And I'm sure you've already seen no body clips, and they have a really unique body mounting system with this one. What you do is you push these little buttons on the side and it pops up the body. Wait until you see the mount itself. Pretty neat. It's got these trays mounted to the shock tower, and there's springs inside that push up on the body, push out on those push buttons, and here are the mounts inside. I mean, those are really heavy duty. That's all gonna take a lot of abuse, and it does look like you can put LED lights in the front and in the rear. That's probably an option in their catalog, but we gotta take a look at this chassis, guys. This is incredible. Lots of really good stuff going on here. We'll start with the chassis itself. It's actually like a double deck design, so the top is like a nylon composite, and then underneath we've got this aluminum plate chassis with this really cool etching on the bottom, roar and rule. Hey, you know what? They're just making it fun. Up top, you got some pretty stout chassis bracing. It is composite. You got like a Y plate in the front to support the bell cranks. It does have this big, huge bumper in the front, and it does kind of stick out a lot. I mean, that's kind of, it takes away from the look just a little bit, in my opinion. And actually, you guys are gonna get a revised version of this bumper. Apparently, it was breaking. I bashed this one pretty hard. It didn't break on me, but they actually held up the production of this so they could give you guys a front bumper that didn't break. Really like that FMS is making sure this stuff is good before it hits the shelves. And then in the back, they've got this wheelie bar set up. And the more I look at this truck, the more I find things that I really like about it. The battery tray up front here looks like it's got long enough Velcro straps so you could put a variety of size battery packs in there. This upper brace, this pole brace, very cool, and it actually has a pin with a body clip, just making access to, you know, removing it a whole lot easier. The receiver box here is waterproof. They do have a gasket around that. I like seeing that. Now let's get into the suspension. This is kind of wild. I love all the colors going on here. It just all works together. They've got these gray arms with the black upper arms. It's a pivot ball setup. They even have the caps on the outside so the pivot ball doesn't break through on you when you hit. Really like the pivot ball setup. I mean, that's used in racing, and I think it's gonna work well here in this basher. On the inside, they have these aluminum hinge pin plates. That's also awesome to see. Pretty interesting how they hold the pin in. It's got these like metal plates that kind of go into a slot in the pin. Interesting setup, but I think if the screw backs out on it, you're gonna lose two parts instead of maybe just one screw capturing it. So make sure you add some Loctite if you ever have to service those. 5mm thick shock towers front and rear, and they've got the FMT10 logo etched on it, speed logo as well, a little jeweled edge and everything. Even the shock posts are a quick change setup, really like that. Lots of detail here. And sway bars, guys. That's pretty awesome. The suspension does feel pretty stiff. It feels like they've got a pretty heavy oil in there. So again, set up for bashing. The rear also has gray arms, sway bar, oh, and you even have droop screws in it. So you could almost tune this thing like an A-scale buggy. In fact, I mean, this would look pretty cool as an A-scale buggy. Hopefully they come out with it based on this chassis. Let me know if they should do that in the comments section below. But yeah, the big bore shocks on the rear, aluminum bodies on these, stout hubs on the outside, adjustable turnbuckles, and even adjustable steering turnbuckles. Again, just liking everything I see here. And then let's get into the driveline. So we've got a triple differential setup, front, center, and rear. And from what I was told, they have revised the differentials as well from what you're seeing in the video here. Again, this was actually held up before it was released to make some revisions. So metal gears inside the differential, metal ring and pinion obviously, and steel ball bearings. Now the drive shafts and the outdrives on this, they look pretty heavy duty, and they've got this kind of bronze effect to them. Almost like a spring steel. I don't think they're spring steel though. I think it's a coating on it to make it look like spring steel. Nonetheless, they look pretty heavy duty. Like that there's CVs in the front and rear. The centers are just dog bones. The steering assembly looks pretty stout. So they've got a servo saver setup built in there. They've got an aluminum Ackerman bar, and the servo mount itself looks pretty solid. Even an aluminum arm on the servo. On all four corners, they have these large lug monster truck tires mounted on these black spoke wheels, 17mm hex. So that's got to handle some power. The only thing I noticed here is that the tires aren't vented, so you might want to go pop a couple holes in those. Let's get into electronics, and this stuff is looking really good. So starting off with the servo, the Predator servo, 35 kg Metal Gear servo. That's pretty awesome. For a truck at this price point, metal gears and a metal case on this thing, very cool. Then it's got a Hobbywing system, 120 amp speed controller, 2000 kV, 4074 size motor in this clamp assembly. So that thing is just gonna stay there. And it does have XT60 plugs. Kind of wish there was like a single XT90 on there just to pump the power through. And then finally in the box, you get your X5P radio system, 2.4 gig, has all the trim functions you're gonna need on it. And they also give you a light bar for the truck. I'm probably not gonna put that on. And of course your instruction manual. I'm gonna go charge up a 4S battery pack. That's just the way to go with one of these. And we're gonna go out for some bashing fun. Here we go, RC drivers, FMT10 action time. Been looking forward to this one. Ever since taking it apart to see what's inside of this beast, I've just been amped to drive it. We're on 4S right now. We're gonna rip off these sand dunes. See if I can pull a wheelie from a standing start. Nope, but we do have some power transfer up front. You can see that. Maybe it needs a little bit heavier diff oil. It's got some rip to it. Again, we're on 4S. I got an SMC pack in there, a big 8000, so I'm gonna put some runtime in on this one. Now get a little bit of air in off the side of this hill. Let's launch it. There we go. Plenty of brake. Want to see how this thing lands. Get a good feel for it. It's looking pretty good. Yeah, we're definitely starting to unload to the front now. Another launch for you. Yeah. Now I like the throttle setup. I think it could go up to level 4 though on the punch. It just seems like it needs a little more. Maybe it needs to go up one more tooth. Now I've already run a 3S pack in here, and when I was done with the 5000 3S pack, the motor was just warm. And remember, it doesn't have a cooling fan on it. This is the stuff I love, just sending it up the hill. It's got some side bite in the corners with those tires. I don't think it's too much chassis roll. I think it's just the way the tire setup is. Let's go for another big air right towards me. Oh no, it hit a big mound of dirt. Plenty of steering. I actually dialed in more steering because the way they had it set from the factory, oh, a little too much brake. The way they had it set from the factory, it didn't have full steering, so definitely check your trims. You know, just thinking about it, maybe these tires are actually gonna do better on a harder pack surface. I mean, this is some pretty soft sand, so that's probably why it's just digging in the corners. Yeah, lots of brake. Maybe it needs the brake dial down. I've kind of nitpicked on a few things here, but this is FMS's first 4-wheel drive big basher truck. And all things considering, I mean, it's doing really well. After what I just put this through, it did really well. Little change of plans. I was originally just gonna run this truck at the sand lot, but I'm up here at RC Madness at their basher lot. And I thought, you know what? Let's run another pack through it. Now this is kind of a brutal spot. We got some big jumps with no landers, so this really puts the durability to the test. Let's see what this beast could do. Whoa, sick air with this one, guys. Oh, didn't see this at the sand lot. Yeah. Little bounce at the end. Uh-oh. I think there's a rock in the rear wheel. There we go, got it out. Hit this jump again. Hold that jump. Good throttle control. Speed control is responsive, like that. Plenty of steering out of this thing. Not bad. Just a small bounce. I mean, this is good. Good stuff, FMS. Yeah. And those tires, they have some sand in them from the sand lot, so you can see them wiggling just a little bit. Not bad. Nice and easy to control. I gotta hit a couple of the small bumps too, you know? This thing's a beast. The more I drive it, the more I like it. Oh, there we go. There's a backflip for you. Wasn't expecting it. Nice. This thing's a monster. That was a hard hit in the rear. Like, everything's just working well with this one. Decent traction out of these tires. Look at that. The more I drive it, the more I like it. It was fun at the sand lot, but now this thing is really opening up to how much fun it is. Wow. And battery's dead. All right, guys, let's wrap this one up. Head back to the studio. So guys, this video is actually made up of new and old video clips. This truck was sent to channels back in February, and FMS held up on the release in order to revise some parts, which is pretty awesome. They revised the bumper, they revised the diff housings, they changed up the fluids, and made the truck a bit more drivable. So I didn't get to test it with those new parts, but I got a pretty good feel for the truck as is, and had a blast driving it. I think this truck handles really well. Did notice that a lot of power is being sent to the front. Sounds like they've revised that. And because of that, it made the truck feel soft. It didn't have a lot of punch. And it may be a part of how the speed controller is programmed as well. It does have the ability to adjust timing and punch. So if you feel that the throttle is still soft on the newer trucks that come out, you might want to go in and tune the ESC. Thought the truck had plenty of steering. That was awesome. Wound up venting the tires, and if yours aren't vented, I would suggest doing that, although it did fill up with sand at the dirt lot. And I didn't speed test it because of that. There's just too much sand inside, making it really hard to drive in a straight line for speed testing. But this thing is supposed to do 50 miles an hour. I think it has it in it on 4S, but this truck was killer on the jumps. It soars through the air. Awesome if you're looking for a jump truck. I think this thing is a solid truck. It's got to take some hard hits, and it's really an impressive truck overall. Really excited that FMS came out with this, and I think they did it right. Again, you know, they held this truck up to make sure it was right for you guys, and they built a solid looking truck. There's just a few little things with it. One of them is the body mounting system. So although it's really awesome, at the sand lot, those trays just filled up with sand, and I couldn't push the buttons in to get the body off. It wound up being just this incredible task to get the body off. And so if you're running in sandy lots, I think this body mounting system is going to be a problem there, but if you're running grass or just packed dirt or something like that, you should be good to go. The other thing is it's still a brand new platform, so there's not a lot of aftermarket support, obviously, just the growing pains of a new truck. Obviously, you get wheels and tires, swap out the electronics if you want to. It does have 0.9 mod gears, and I don't have any spare gears like that in my lineup, so that's odd. Usually you get 0.8 or 1.0 mod. So those are just little things that I think could be overcome. Pretty good price point on this. I will have that in the video description below, along with some links. While you're there, hit up the comment section. Let me know what you think about the new FMT10.